The numbers of coronavirus cases are spiking here.
Scott, local officials sending out a word of warning to Arizonans as the virus continues to spread. That positivity rate is going up. So let's take a look at the latest numbers right now. Arizona adding just shy of 2,000 new cases to our totals. 1,996 new positive tests takes our total close to 255,000 cases since the start of the pandemic. And additional 22 deaths reported in Arizona, with a weekly positivity rate at 9% for the first time in months. So many people are feeling stressed out and nervous about what this is going to mean for the next weeks and months. So let's check in with Javier, who is with Dr. Cara Christ at the Arizona Department of Health Services.
Yeah, good morning, Olivia. And you talk about close to 2,000 cases reported today, 2,000 plus cases reported yesterday. There is certainly a lot of concern. So we want to turn to Dr. Cara Christ right now, the State Department Director, and just your thoughts as we see the increase. And it's not a small increase, it's pretty rapid.
So we've been watching the data. We've been on high alert, and we are concerned at the growing numbers. So we're seeing increases in our cases. We're also seeing increases in our percent positivity.
That positivity at 9% now, it held steady at 4% for weeks and weeks. We saw a slow increase. At one point, do we start looking at more harsher measures to crack down and try to bring that back down?
So we'll be watching the data and looking at the benchmarks that we've established. And when all three benchmarks move into the substantial range for a county, we'll be working with those county health departments to develop a tailored approach in order to bring down the number of cases and bring down that percent positivity.
I know one of the strategies has always been all along face masks, face coverings, wash those hands, stay home if you're sick, and social distance. If you're out and about these days, Arizonans are not doing that, and that's obviously driving up the rate. How do you get a more strong message across to people that we're still in the middle of a pandemic?
So I think, talking about the numbers, talking about the spread, and really encouraging people, mask use is the best prevention method we have against COVID-19 right now. And we need people to wear it whenever they are out in public, and to even think about wearing it if they're at a house or a gathering with people they don't live with. A lot of people are asymptomatic. They don't know that they've had the disease, but it can have devastating effects in others.
Does it hurt the process that we still don't have a statewide mask mandate?
100% of the state does have some type of mask requirement. So there are countywide, there are citywide mask mandates, but what I don't think a lot of people realize is those requirements for those businesses to reopen that were paused all have to enforce mask use in their staff and their patrons. So that's restaurants, bars, gyms, movie theaters. You are required to wear a mask in every one of those establishments in Arizona.
Does it really concern you right now that as we're seeing this surge, so are many areas across the country where when we saw the last surge, we were able to pull resources. Now, what are the plans?
So now we are seeing surges not only here in Arizona, but in other states and countries around the world. So we really need Arizonans to do what they've been doing such a great job at. We know that we were able to drive the numbers down before. We can do it again, but the real concern is the holidays coming up.
Let's talk about schools. Obviously, many districts are now in that red zone right now. Some are scaling back, going back to virtual. Would it help if we had guidelines straight across the board to help them all mitigate what's going on and navigate these troubling times?
So our schools are an important element of our society, and we really want our kids in-person learning. So we've been working with our local county health departments and the school districts and the Department of Education to set those benchmarks, but to also provide technical assistance and assistance during outbreaks if they do have cases within the schools so that they can remain open and keep the children and the staff safe.
I know we moved some of those benchmarks recently. How confusing does that make to parents, to businesses out there who are trying to prepare and trying to navigate these waters as well, not knowing if there might be stricter measures down the road or not knowing how to go about their day-to-day actions?
So as we learn new things about this virus every day, we're adjusting so that we can provide, certainty so that people aren't worrying that like one day they'll shut down and the next week they can reopen back up. we've been working with the stakeholders to provide that consistency and to make sure they understand. One of the things that we struggled with was, we just want to make sure that we're not going back and forth week to week and causing disruption, especially in our schools with families.
Your last message to Arizonans, especially as we head into the weekend.
So we are heading into some beautiful weather. As much as possible, stay outdoors, avoid large gatherings. If you're going to a household gathering with friends or family, move the celebration outdoors and still wear a mask and stay physically distanced.
We thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you.
We know you are extremely busy, and that is one of the messages she wants to push, especially headed into Thanksgiving. We know a lot of families are gathering out there. Take those gatherings outdoors.